Just
But what
calm
you guys
down.
call black culture
Hold
isn't
on.
actually
saying we
black
share
culture.
everything. When I
That's
say
the
we share
issue.
culture,
Guys, you do
what
just
I'm
calm.
saying,
You do realize that in New York, the Latins of New York, at least during the historical periods and the present, Puerto Ricans weren't as gatekeeperish as a lot of other communities were. They were actually very inviting of outside people, including the black community in many places like the Bronx, Spanish
Right.
Harlem.
like
And
the way New York work is the way we see it is New York and Jersey versus everybody, and
I
maybe we
understand.
count Philly. You know what I'm saying? But the
I
way we see
understand that.
it, we
Hold
see
on,
shit as
everybody
we
give each
see.
other a
Asians
chance.
created hip
Everybody give
hop.
each other a chance. Let's not do this.
I'm just.
Make your
I'm gonna try. The only
Go
thing
ahead and
I'm
finish.
about to do.
Go ahead.
I'm about to
Just
do.
call me. Go ahead and finish, and then let Buddha speak. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Only
Well,
thing I'm
you were
about to do.
finished, Buddha, because I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to let you finish making your point.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Don't
Whichever
worry
goes
about it.
first. Fine.
It's just because it's always difficult to speak about this with people that's not from out here because it's really hard to explain how we work out here. But like when you in New York, it's like New York over everything. Everything else secondary. So you can be from Jamaica, but like you can be from Trinidad, you can be from down south, you can be from everything. But we
I mean,
all share
go,
spaces. We
go ahead, go
all
ahead.
our safe spaces are always the same spaces. We all
Right.
share culture. So our
I mean, the
culture
thing.
blends cohesively.
Go ahead.
So when it
I didn't
comes
want to
down
interrupt
to
you.
like when it comes down to creation of anything, when it comes down to everything that comes out of New York, it's a shared project. So if you're talking about hip hop, and New York is a cultural place where all the black people from all the corners of wherever, we all share everything. You can't split it up and say it's uniquely only African American because we share shit here. And I get that it's
Okay, can
different in other places,
But
but
I
here,
disagree with that. I disagree with that because first of all, you don't have to be a native of New York or be from there to understand how culture works and how people and how it's possible for people who are two distinct cultures or
only thing,
various distinct cultures to adapt norms
only thing
of
that's
those other
different
cultures
with
because listen, for instance, if I lived in New York, right, even if I was born there, I don't really have to listen, even if I engaged in Puerto Rican culture or Dominican culture or whatever. I mean, I have enough common sense to know that it doesn't come from my people because when I go home in my household, my people are not doing that. My people are doing something different from what they do. Okay, it's a prime example of what I've told you here in Miami. You see a lot of people in Miami dressing like us as Black Americans, talking like us, mixing up with us. But when they
that's what
go
I'm trying
home
to
at the
say
end of
is
the day,
different
they eat
because when
Spanish
we
food
go
and I eat
home, we
soul food.
all the shit that we do outside that we share, we
But
do at home too.
can
You
I
know what I'm
jump
but
saying?
in?
When we
Can I
talk,
can
when
I
we
say
talk,
something?
Soul food is mostly European.
Can I say
soul food is
something?
not European. That's a lie. Okay, so
that's
I can
crazy.
Can
debunk
I
that.
can I get
I'm
a
not even
chance to
Hold
American.
talk,
on.
That's
guys?
crazy, man.
Everybody. We
Also
do respect
speaking.
women's voices here, so let Bree talk. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
it's
Bree.
just go
Okay,
crazy,
so
bro.
so here's the thing, and this is what I want Buddha to understand, even though I don't think he's gonna get it. You are speaking as if you can teach us about soul, funk, and R&B music when your people just got here. We have
Where did
literally
macaroni
been
and
in
cheese
this.
come from?
We
I'm
have
not
we
saying
have
that.
literally been in this country.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I can teach you about any of those things.
Can I please finish talking? I didn't
Let her
interrupt you. I
finish,
just want a
y'all. Let her
I
chance.
got it.
finish.
My fault.
Let's
My
not get
fault.
out of hand. Let her finish. This is my forum. Go ahead.
We African Americans have been in this country for about 450 years. So we know not just the history of our community, but we know the history of our community's music. And you don't understand that. So when you talk on, okay, well, in New York, we share everything, that's not how it is because Black people did not start out in New York. What you guys are doing who are not African American is you're trying to divide the African American community by cities. We are not divided by cities. We are one community from New York to Chicago to Atlanta to LA. We are one community that came out of slavery together from the South. And we spread north and we spread west and we spread east. We are not originally up there. We're originally from the South. So the music that you're talking about, soul and funk, is not New York music. It comes from people who are from the South. So please do not, like as a Haitian, I'll respect your history on your people. Do not come and try to tell us our history on our music here because you do not know it better than ours. And our community is not divided here. We are one, the African American. We have our disagreements with one another, but if I go to Atlanta, if I go to LA, wherever I go, I know my people. We are one community and we're not divided by cities.
I'm gonna keep it a band. I understand what you're trying to say, but I feel like you're severely overestimating how much people from here like other people. We don't deal with people from outside of our region. We don't do it. And if you're from New York, you get that. We don't like outsiders. I'm not saying that your music isn't your music.
bro.
It's not African American.
Let
What
him
I'm
let him
saying is
finish.
that
Let him
what I'm
finish.
saying is that
Everybody
the
else got a
culture
turn. Go ahead.
Of New York City as a whole, and the region over here is different from the rest of the country. We don't bangs with y'all like that. We don't mix with y'all like that. We don't mess with y'all when we leave because we don't. It's just not. It doesn't flow the same. You know what I'm saying? When we out
Bro,
here, everybody.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When we out here and we move how we move, it makes sense to us. It's not gonna make sense to y'all because y'all not from out here and y'all have different cultural. Even if it's just subtly. Chicago and New York not the same. LA and New York not the same. Atlanta and New York not the same. Atlanta and Chicago not the same. We all got our
Houston and New
differences.
Orleans not the same, and they're 8 hours apart.
Everybody
Bro,
got their own little differences. Is what I'm trying to say. And
bro,
we out
we don't
here.
have to be from New York to know what our culture is, bro. Like,
I'm
I
not
mean, listen,
saying.
like,
He's
do
talking
you?
about
I'm not
regionalism.
talking
He's
Oh,
talking
about
okay,
about
that.
and I
I'm
regionalism.
not
understand,
talking
and I
about
understand that. But the thing about it is that, and I'm telling you, as an African American who was born and raised in this culture, all my ancestors being from here, I have
that.
gone to other parts of the country, and although of course there are some regional differences, for the most part, we have the same exact culture. It's not very much of a difference. My cousin was living in Los Angeles, for instance, and I went out there, and my people are from Miami, and it's crazy because I still see uncanny similarities. One thing, for instance, I went out to LA and I saw how brothers and like a lot of brothers out there, they love dressing in those Dickie uniforms. And it's crazy because out here I see brothers doing the same thing all the time. You know, like I mean that's just one example. We all eat soul food. We all go to Sunday church. Okay, we all got the same things. I hear people out there in California saying things like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm about to make a grip." People say the same thing here, so we know our people, man. Is what I'm saying. We
And
don't
I,
have to
I
be from the same region to know that.
and I
So let
get
me
that.
ask y'all.
What I'm saying,
Let me
what
ask
I'm,
you an honest question, y'all. Since jazz was brought up as one of the foundational musics, what if an argument? Since we're talking about regionalism, because some people might think differently. I've heard somebody in my last comments reference some analogy to this. What if we was to say that jazz music, even though nowadays it's seen as greater black music, what if we was to say that? What if somebody from New Orleans was like, "Well, this is considered black music, yes, but this may be really considered Creole music
Because
because
all American music, all Black American music comes from the same source. Essentially, all of it does. Because all of Black American music was born from field music. It was born from Negro spirituals. Okay, and all that music essentially over time evolved into more complex forms as time went on. Remember, when they had us in the American South, you have to take something into consideration.
it all
Many of us
starts
didn't
back with
stay.
all
Many of
starts
us,
back with the blues. He right.
right? Let me just say something. Many of us didn't stay on one plantation. They moved our people left and right, left and right, left and right. So you don't think that with all of that moving around that there's going to be a shared similarity of culture? Like I mean, like that's what I'm saying.
Bro,
Like
what
But
I'm
the
trying to
question here I
explain,
have for
it's
everybody
difficult.
is
It's
what
difficult.
everybody,
exact?
everybody
It's
mute
Say,
up.
difficult.
Let him
It's
talk. Let him
difficult to
talk.
explain
Buddha,
because
I'll let you talk after Luchi. Go ahead,
no, go
Luchi.
crazy.
here, I have a question for everybody. So, if you guys are going to defend black culture, you first have to define what black culture is. Because, in my opinion, people who live within the regions of Louisiana and they practice Creole culture, that is not black culture. So,
Bro,
can someone explain to me what black culture actually is?
We're
Because
talking
if a
about we're
Jamaican,
talking
if a
about
Jamaican is coming over to the United States and developing hip hop, and that's not considered black, then what is considered black?
first of all,
it depends on if you it depends on if you believe in
Because I don't consider Creole
Africanism.
culture to be black.
If you don't believe in Pan Africanism, then it can go any other way. Because if you believe in Pan Africanism, then anybody from Ethiopia to LA is black to you.
okay,
But if
when we
it's
talk
not like
about
that for
black
you,
culture,
Exactly. That's exactly my
when,
point. So, like, black Puerto Rican culture all the way in Puerto Rico, is that not black culture?
to
Or what
me it
about the
is.
black culture by the people who speak French in the areas of Quebec in Canada? Is that not also black culture?
To some people it
black
is. To some people, black means American specifically.
Yeah,
black culture
Yeah.
in
exactly.
Black culture in the United States refers to African American culture, Black American culture. So, in other words, the culture that comes from the people who are descendants of the people that built this country specifically, not immigrants.
So then,
Yeah.
by
So
And
by Yvonne's
there's
point,
another key
then
difference.
jazz music would be mostly Creole and not Black American.
There's
You
another
know
so
what,
key
Creole?
difference between where we live though, because where
First of
I
all,
live,
Creole. First of all, Creole doesn't always refer to a person's race. Creole really just refers to
Refers
a
to
mixture
general
of cultures.
ethnicity.
It refers primarily to people who are of European and
French
African
influence.
heritage.
Yes.
French influence,
which
specifically.
African Americans, which technically most many African Americans, although many of us don't like to admit it, a lot of us, just like Puerto Ricans and everybody else, we have European ancestry. The only difference is that ours is more from Anglophone descent, because most of us are part British, as if where you guys are Spanish.
Yeah, so here's the thing. The Creole and you have to people don't understand this. This is why you keep trying to separate us. And again, let us who are actually a
Yes.
part of the community explain our own community. Just like if you're Haitian, you explain Haitian things. Okay, there's two African Americans on this panel.
You
We
keep
all
monologuing. Can you
came.
finally explain?
Go
See,
ahead.
see.
Go ahead,
Not
Bree. Explain, please. Make your
Okay,
point.
so
I'm just glad to see.
my point is this: we all came out of slavery together. So some of the music and the spirituals, when we started spreading, when we finally left, that same culture we brought with us. So, like I said, you keep trying to divide us into cities. It's not really like that. We still have the same culture. We have little tweaks in our culture depending on the region. Like for example, somebody was like, "Well, tell me." Are you black people from the north? I said the black people from the north are not originally from the north. The black people from the north are from the south because that's where we originated. So again, you can't divide our culture by region. We are one community and one people. And if you are not African American, you don't understand that. So don't try to explain that to us. And we want to try to explain to you your culture as well.
Bro,
Let me ask you,
No,
Bree. I
I'm
got a
telling
absolutely.
you,
question.
We're
I got a
absolutely going to
question for you.
separate them because they need to be
I'm
separated.
gonna
They're not
try
the
to
same
say this
person.
one more time,
Bree,
bro.
Bree.
It's the
I got a
last
Yeah,
time
yeah,
I'm
question
gonna
for
say
you.
this.
I'm
Damn
listening.
it!
I'm
Everybody
listening.
mute up so I can ask her the question. Look,
Hmm.
do you
What's
not
up?
look because you're getting heisty about the Haitian American guy here. But let me ask you
No,
this.
I'm not
No, no,
mad
no,
at
no.
nobody. I'm just
Let me ask my
talking.
question. Let me ask
Go
my
ahead.
question. No, no. Let me ask my question. I got it. Do you not believe? Okay, so if you're making this case where there's one unified struggle with Black American solidarity, so why is it that there's no? Because the way you're sounding, you're not really incorporating intersectionality within the Black diaspora. You're just only focusing on African Americans as being, oh, you can't tell us how we define ourselves, but boy's trying to say he's not telling y'all how to define yourselves.
Right. So
There's a concept of intersectionality that happens in other cultures where even if we're not the same, there's a common struggle and a common, you know, upward mobility here. Why is that? Why is that? I noticed that in many African American spaces, whether it be on here or real life, you don't see
So
that solidarity, like that intersectionality of
yeah.
struggle.
what
Yes.
exactly do
No,
you mean
wait,
by
wait, no, no. Let me
intersectionality?
answer. Let me answer. Let me
Ivan,
answer.
can I say
Let me
something,
answer because he
please?
asked me. Let me answer because he asked me. So here's the thing. The thing is this. Again, I said this this is a Mexican guy's live that I'm on, and he talks about Mexican and Black unity. And this is the thing. We all have to respect one another's cultural boundaries. We can't talk about intersectionality when people are trying to make it like they know our culture better than ours. If you respect us and listen to us about our culture, then we can talk about unifying. But again, I will never tell a Jamaican, well, let me tell you about your culture. That is not my place as an African American. It's my place to support the Jamaicans when they're talking about Jamaican things and their struggle and maybe things they're doing in Jamaica. It's my place as another Black diaspora to listen and to support them. And it's the same with us. Just listen and support us. I won't try to tell you, don't tell us. And then when we respect one another's boundaries, then we can unify. Does that sound good?
Because look, I get what you're saying. Because here's the thing: a lot of people like to tell us, "Oh, there's no such thing as being Latino. It's not a race." But what we practice amongst ourselves within the Hispanic slash Latino communities, even when we don't get along, we still have a form of intersectionality amongst Latinos, regardless of skin color, regardless of race category, regardless of
Even through
nationality.
all the racism, that shit is crazy.
We come
Always stick together.
together when it's time to do it. But go ahead.
Right. So here's the thing, though. It's a little bit different with us because we are, again, race-based because we are Black people. So when we talk about intersectionality, we reach out to other Black people of the diaspora, and it does matter to us, which is why we would probably have a very difficult time unifying with Latinos because, again, because there are white Latinos, there are mestizos, and we are Black-based, and we uplift Blackness. So that's where there's a difference. Our communities are different, and it just is what it is.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
Can I have the parole, please?
I feel like
Go
I
ahead,
found
Baba. Go ahead. He's been waiting. Go ahead, Baba. Go ahead.
I'm kind of perplexed, Ivan. You from Texas? You are a Latino.
I live in Texas. My background, like my father's Puerto Rican from the island, and my mother's from Colombia. So yes, I'm a
thank you.
mixed ethnic Latino. Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
thank you for that.
Yes, I'm a mixed ethnic Latino. Yes. Everybody mute
I'm
up.
kind of perplexed.
Everybody mute up.
I respect everybody.
Mute up. Okay, go ahead.
I'm kind of perplexed. This is the fourth time or third time I watch you. You want to create a connection between Latino and Creole. I don't have no problem with that. But I heard people in your life demeaning African American. But what they don't understand, a Creole is a mixture of French and African American. And what was the law back in the days? One fifth of the blood is, how do you call them? Black. It doesn't matter. I love Latino. I go often to please let me finish. I go often to New Orleans to show you how I am fair. The first time I went to New Orleans, I hired a black man. We went to a government entity. What the guy did was smoking crack over there. I didn't appreciate. The next day, I went as a black man, 100% black man. I hired a Guatemaltec and a Mexican. Two Guatemaltec. They come. They did a great job. I never discriminate against them. But what I'm trying to understand, why are you trying to create a divide between a Creole and an African American? Because
Okay.
no, please, sir.
I'm going to answer that question.
Sure.
Because I think you misunderstood the point of the lie. Okay. Everybody mute up. Baba, mute up so I can make my point, and then I'll let everybody else talk. Mute up.
Hello?
I'm gonna mute you because I'm gonna make my point, and then
I don't have no problem. I will not interrupt you.
Okay,
I was
okay,
educated enough not to interrupt people,
That's
sir.
That's fine. I'm gonna make my point. Okay, so what the point of those lies were is this is something that a lot of people. It was a 50-50 crowd that those few nights, and this is something that people got to understand. I've had Creoles. I've been communicating with Creoles on and off over the years. And the thing is that there's this misconception of what Creole identity really is. Yes, there are Black Creoles, or there are gens de couleur, as they say in French, or Creoles of color. They do exist. But not everybody in the Creole community, historically speaking, was considered Black. There were mixed Creoles, like people with strong Spanish and French bloodlines who happen to have some African ancestry. That was a thing too. There's even white tea Creoles. Some of them were Cajuns, and some of them were descendants of the Frenchmen who came to Louisiana as settlers. And some of those Frenchmen did mingle with indigenous and African women. So Creole is a culture and a title. And from what I understood, because I've been told Creole history by people from those families and those lineages, that before the Louisiana Purchase era, they didn't mingle with non-Creole Anglo Americans or non-Creole Black Americans. There are Creole African descendants which they were seen as part of the culture, even with their struggles of equality, like slavery and others, the casta system. The French emancipated the slaves before the Americans even bought Louisiana, and that happened before Louisiana Purchase. And some of those black Creole men even fought in the French armies before the Americans took over the region. And some Creoles just see themselves as Creoles first, whether it be Creoles of color, white tea, or French or Spanish mixed Creoles, or even there's even been Creoles that assimilated into the culture, like Italians that immigrated to the South in New Orleans. There's been German Creoles, the Cajuns that came from Acadia. They all assimilated into Creole culture at some point. It's just there's this misconception that for a long time that you had to look like Prince or Beyonce to be Creole, and they're not the only Creoles. Creole is a culture. It's not necessarily a title for race categorization.
Well, you know,
But
I want to
sir,
make a
that's
comment there. Really.
I'm sorry. Can you let me finish, please? But sir, that's where
Go
you
ahead.
are wrong. A Creole is a French concept. A Creole is a mixture of black and French.
It
That's
doesn't
where.
have to necessarily.
Please,
It doesn't.
please.
Go ahead.
Let me finish.
Go ahead and finish your
A
point.
Creole
Okay,
is a
go ahead.
mixture of black and French. They have Creole in the island of Cabo Verde because it's a mixture of African, mostly Senegalese, and Portuguese. So we have to get something really clear. A Creole is a mixture of French and black, mostly, because the
It's not
French.
necessarily.
There's
It's
different
not
Creoles, sir.
It's not necessarily.
I
We were talking about
understand all
Louisiana
that.
Creole.
Creole is a
It's
French
not.
word. A
It's not
Creole.
necessarily. Yes, it's a French word, but conceptually
Right,
speaking, it's
but
not relegated
sir,
to
Because
French.
even in the
Sir,
hold on, even
I
in the
was,
Hispanic
I, wa-
community,
I was respectful enough to listen to you,
Let me just. I know,
and
but what you're saying.
it will be great to listen to me and let me finish. I don't have no problem with any races. Like I told you, I go to New
It's
York,
crazy, son.
New Orleans often for business, and I rather hire a Guatemaltec or a Mexican because I like the job they do. And I'm 100% black person, which you can call a Creole because my grandmother was a Portuguese. But
Okay.
what I don't understand, why
Go ahead.
you are 100% behind creating creating a problem between the Creole and the black, because a hundred years ago, a Creole was considered as a black because a mixture, 1/5 of the blood is a black, no matter where you go. So my
He's not
thing
creating
is,
a problem. He's only addressing why it's hard to why applying
sir,
it to African Americans.
I've had
sir,
Creoles tell me.
we have a lot of time, please.
Hold on.
I respect people. I like
let me-
people to
Let me
respect
first of all,
other
let me
people.
speak on this. Let me make a commentary. I want to make a commentary really quickly, because
All
I'm
right, go
African
ahead,
American,
Just
right?
Cause. Go ahead.
Sure.
Listen. I also have ancestry from a Creole ethnicity in here. My people actually descend from the Lumbee people out in North Carolina, and they're primarily a Creole ethnicity. You know, largely of people who are triracial, mostly, but largely of European, primarily Scots, Irish, and African ancestry. And there are even people, like from what I've been told about my family, to validate what even is saying, who actually didn't really identify as being black or African American. They identify more as being someone who was like, some of them say that they're full Lumbee. You know, some of them say they're not, but many do say they're African Americans. The one who usually say that they're African Americans are the ones who are blacker, but the ones who say that they're Creoles are usually the ones who are more like, like white presenting or white passing.
I bet I'm lighter than those people. And guess what? I consider myself as black because that's what the law say. 1/5 of a black, 1/5 you are black. But my
That's
problem,
archaic Jim Crow laws, sir.
please respect me because I respect
I've
you.
given you the mic, sir. I've been pretty
Yes,
respectful to you.
please don't cut me off.
Okay,
Please. I don't
go
have
ahead,
no
go ahead.
respect for you. I
It's
live
okay,
right
it's
over
okay.
here in the
Finish your point.
woodlands,
Go ahead,
like
It's
you
okay,
live in
it's okay.
Houston. Probably one day, me and you have can have a time to go to a coffee shop, drink a coffee, and talk about things.
Okay, okay.
I
Go ahead,
love,
man.
yeah,
It's no hard
yeah,
feelings. Finish your point.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No hard feeling. No, I consider myself as a humanist. I don't care about what race you are. You know what I care about? Your humanity. But to create a site to say that Creole and Latino should connect together because they have a lot of things in common. But Creole has more things in common than black people. I know the history of Creole pretty good. I'm not joking. I know the history of Creole pretty good. I love you as my brother from Puerto Rico.
People outside of our community, not by us.
What
It's
I'm trying
still
to say,
hip hop was so. Let me get back to Buddha. So what I'm trying to say is this: when you say we, you have to understand that even African Americans, you still can't speak for them in New York. You don't think other people have family from New York? Of course we do. So when
Exactly.
you
A lot
say
of my
right, so if you say we, you can say Haitians feel that way. Don't speak
say
on
that,
all the African Americans in New York because you're not them.
you
That's the
don't
point I'm
understand
trying
how
to
shit work
make.
out here. But that's the thing. You
How
don't
do you, but
understand
what
how shit
makes you
work out
think you're
here,
the
bro.
only
You don't
person from New
separate.
York,
You
Buddha?
don't. I'm not saying that. Let me finish. I'm not saying that.
Okay, so can we respect boundaries and you speak on the, you don't speak for African Americans. You're not a
Bro,
part
I'm
of the
not saying that.
community.
I just said I'm not speaking for African American.
Do
African
you
American.
speaking for African Americans in New
I'm
York?
speaking
No?
for people. I'm speaking for people that live in New York that are black as a whole, because
No, but
we
no,
don't
we still
separate.
have our own community in New York.
Yes, we do have our. You do have your own
Not
community in New York.
we,
Yes,
African Americans.
I know. I just corrected myself. I'm not
Okay,
saying y'all don't have your own community in New York. What I'm
okay.
saying is that people from New York, no matter where they're from, we always put I'm from New York first. I'm Haitian, but I'm specifically a Brooklyn Haitian. I'm not a Florida Haitian. I'm not a Haitian from Haiti.
yeah,
Where people
but
are from, we always differentiate ourselves from whatever suburb we come from because we always we as a culture, we is different here. It's not like that, like how
but
it is
but but
everywhere else, is what I'm saying.
but
Yes, African
essentially,
American people across the country share cultural things. Y'all go to church, y'all eat soul food, y'all got
It's
family down south,
deeper than
all this
that. We
and
came out of
all
slavery
the other things.
together.
but it's
Yes,
but that's
I know that because y'all have the same roots. That's common sense. The
It's
same way
not
I
just
have.
roots. We were raised practically the same. Yes, we
I'm not
spread and
debating
cultural
that.
tweaks happen,
I'm
but
not
you have to,
debating that right now.
right,
What I'm trying to
exactly.
say
I'm not
is
trying
that
to argue with you
New
neither. I'm
York.
just trying to explain to you when you talk about African Americans in New York that you cannot say that about all the, because you're not African American. I don't mind if you say that about the Haitians.
I know
Huh?
people from New York, bro. I'm from New York. I know
Of
what I'm
course,
talking
you
about.
know people from New York. You don't know every AA in New York. And also, a lot of AAs are not even there anymore. A lot of AAs have left. It's a lot of Africans and Caribbeans there, which is great. I love Africans and Caribbeans. But again, I'm just saying,
I would say a lot.
can't
All of them
speak
are
for
pretty solid.
you can't speak for all AAs in New York because they're still a part of our community in the
Yes,
US and they
I
still
get
came
that.
from the South.
I
That's
get
all
that.
I'm trying to say.
And I get that. And what I'm saying is, when you live in New York, the way we operate here is very uniquely different from everywhere that's not from here, which is why it's difficult to explain how we grow up and how we come up here. The reason why we don't look at people like Fat Joe crazy for saying the N word is because Fat Joe is Puerto Rican and we all grow up. Oh yeah, Fat Joe's Puerto Rican. We know he
but sir,
got.
I just wanna interchime really quickly. What you're saying really
Buddha,
essentially
go
is
ahead.
you're not.
You got the mic here. Go ahead. Go ahead. Since you're the New York guy here, give the New York perspective. Go ahead.
From first of all, who's this nigga in the comments? Who's not from New York, bro? I'm from 56th Avenue D and 11203. You could keep that where you at, bro.
It's because you said you're Haitian, dude. They're trying to exclude Haitian Americans from
Whoever
speaking
tried
for
to
the
say
black
hate,
community,
whoever
per
yeah,
se.
They can
I'm
speak
talking
for
about bro
the
in the
because
comments.
Haitian
they're
community.
I'm talking about
because
bro in the
they're
comments.
because
I'm
they're
talking about
not
bro in
of
the
our
comments.
ethnicity. They're their own ethnicity. They're not African American.
But you do understand that America set up the black and white color separation deliberately for
But
this
it doesn't.
division
But it doesn't. But it
for,
doesn't
that
matter. They come from
you're
a
doing
different.
right
They come
now.
from a They come from a different country. They speak a different language. I mean, even if you
don't
go to the
see that
continent of
here.
Africa,
You don't
Africans are
hear
not
about
a
people
monolith.
But do you realize that the Haitian Revolution was the remote reason why that set the stages for aspects of American emancipation, especially
All
Nat
these things,
Turner's
only thing,
rebellion, because they heard stories about Haitian Revolution, even though it was decades later. They
But
drew
did,
No, Black
intersectionalities
Americans
of.
are elite. They're always
but
elite.
host, again, you don't think we understand our culture? We understand it. What
you
we're
see, this
trying
is
to tell
essentially,
you, what we're trying
yeah.
to tell you, what we're trying to tell you is that within the Black diaspora, we respect others' cultures. Haitians have their own culture, and it's a beautiful culture. We would never tell them about their own culture and make it like we
Exactly.
know more about them than
Talking
we know
about how
about us. And
And
we're
I see, and
also
see,
I'm not
wait.
debating.
I
I'm
didn't
not
finish my
debating the
sentence.
difference in the culture. I'm debating how the diaspora
I
operates here, and
didn't
it's
finish
different.
my
That's what I'm saying.
sentence. We will never presume to tell Haitians or act like we know more about Haitian cultures because we are not Haitian, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's the same thing. Do not presume like you know more about AA culture than we do. We're just
I'm not
asking for
doing
each
that,
other.
bro.
No, I'm speaking in general. I'm speaking to the host too. We're just asking that everyone respects everyone's cultural boundaries. I'm not going to tell Jamaicans I know more than what they know. I'm not going to tell people from Nigeria, even though they're still Black. They know more about their culture than me. That's all we're trying to say.
background.
Back to what I was saying. I'm not trying to tell African Americans about their culture. I'm not. I'm not in that club. I understand that. I'm saying that the way the diaspora operates here is different from the way everyone else. But my best friend is African American. Family's from down south. Only person to have family that's not from Southern descent is her grandfather, and that's only because his father was Jamaican. Only person.
Right, but what
And
you're saying is still rather redundant because the bottom line is that all the elements of hip hop can be traced back to African American origin. I mean, that's the whole point.
I'm not arguing about where the sound came from. I know all the records. I just
Lucci, I don't mean to cut y'all off, guys. Lucci, can you add Enrique Sanchez on here? Because he's having problems. You have the moderator role. You can add and remove people. Go add Enrique,
You know,
please.
my thing is that
the
you know my
cultural differences and us being from different places don't hold as much weight here as it holds everywhere else. That's what I'm trying to say.
it doesn't it listen
Somebody said
it
when you
doesn't
go
matter,
home and your culture is different. We don't do that
and
here. All the
and
culture
it's
is
fine,
intertwined.
and it's
So what I'm
fine, and
saying,
it's fine, and that's your perception, but that doesn't negate how
Accept the
culture
invite,
works.
Enrique.
You know, just
You
because I
gotta
go
accept
even
it.
clarification, I'm trying to get clarification.
Yeah, well, for example, reggaeton, the origins of reggae. The origins of reggae definitely was not jazz, and it
nope.
We
wasn't.
didn't. So
So
I
what
don't think
was it?
you. I don't
What
think
was
you.
your
I don't
main
think.
What was your main argument when
I
it
don't
came to
think you. I
reggae?
don't think you. I don't think you heard what I said.
What
So
was your main
I
argument
said
when it came to reggae?
reggae comes from ska. Ska music was inspired by rhythm and blues, which is factual.
So
Okay,
rhythm and blues, it
Jamaican.
was inspired by ska. So
I
in
didn't.
your position, if we are going
I
to
said ska. I
if
said
we are going to
ska.
date it back, if we are going to date it back to the Black Americans, then every single Black American creation was thanks to white Europeans, including the
No, no,
language that you
no.
speak.
That no, no. That's
Excuse
completely
me,
false.
including the language
No,
Lucci,
that
let's
no,
you
add
no,
some
no.
speak.
context,
No, because
Lucci, because
you're saying
No.
bullshit. That's false. That's
Lucci,
You're
false.
now
Lucci,
trying to
That's
Lucci,
false.
claim. You're trying to claim.
No, no, that's
You're
false.
trying
That's
to
because
claim
false.
that's
only the
going on.
original
Look,
No,
culture.
Lucci,
let me talk.
it's okay, dude. You look,
No, man,
this,
because I hate people who talk bullshit about my culture, man.
Your
bro,
culture is
look,
white
I'm
European.
not
You're
gonna
literally
lie,
speaking
Just. I'm not
English.
gonna lie, Just. You did contradict
You're
yourself.
speaking English.
You did contradict yourself just now with
Are
the
you
reggaeton
speaking
thing.
an African tongue? Are
Okay,
you
so I
speaking
would
an
like
African
to.
tongue?
I'm
No,
not gonna lie. Nah, you
You
need to
speak.
chill with
you're
that.
No,
not.
no, bro. Let me just make.
That's
You.
mad crazy.
That's like me saying
That's
because you.
mad crazy.
That's
That's
like me
mad
saying
crazy.
because you.
It's
That's
European
like me saying
culture.
because that. You see how stupid this is. That's like me saying because you speak Spanish that you can't lay a claim to the Yoruba heritage
Yes,
that
I'm
comes from those islands.
Hispanic. By being Hispanic, it's literally in the name Hispanic. Hispanic, Hispano, Hispanohablante, Hispanos. Don't you
Tú no sabes,
understand
language
the
any
tú no
language?
sabes,
language.
You
no,
don't
no, no,
Yo,
no,
understand
no,
the
I'm not gonna
language.
lie, bro.
You don't
no,
understand the
para
language.
hablándome, porque tú no sabes, tú no sabes qué
Hispano. You know what
significa.
Hispano means?
No,
Hispano
yo
means
sé qué
Hispano
significa
hablante.
esto, yo sé qué significa.
Lucci, he
Cállate
knows
la boca,
If you
Spanish. He's
know,
not.
cállate la boca,
then
idiota, cállate la
if
boca,
you know
idiota,
it,
porque
then
tú no
why
sabes
are
qué
you
tú estás
pretending as
hablando.
if that's not the word?
Yo, bro.
Hold on.
Is that
Let me
not
Tú
the
let me
word?
digas,
real
tú
quick,
digas
guys.
mentira. Tú digas
Guys, settle
mentira,
down.
bolchin.
Okay,
Quick
both of
facts.
y'all
Hablando
getting
No,
muted.
bolchinche,
repeat that.
basura.
Bro, both of y'all
Quick
getting
facts.
muted.
Quick
I
facts.
would like to
Can y'all
You
answer
settle
seem
down,
very
please,
angry.
and not argue?
question.
Quick facts,
Yeah.
bro. Just you
So
contradicted yourself.